we're going to talk about side control. The first thing we're going to do is just look at the positioning and a little bit of control from there. So for me, any of the escapes that Chelsea's going to try, she has to start turning on her side before she can do anything else. So if she goes to shrimp, for example, she goes onto her side. If she tries to turtle away from me, she goes onto her side. So part of the key for the control is preventing her from being able to do that. The way that I tend to do it is I get underneath her arm and I hook this hand onto by her say on the top of her tricep, and I'm going to hook the other hand underneath her tricep on the other side. Okay. So we're here. Okay. The next thing I do is I try to close off any space that she has to move like side to side. Okay, so any lateral movement. And I close my elbow to my hip, so I'm clamping it in this way. Okay, now if Chelsea tries to move from here, I can kind of control it pretty well. One other detail is if she is pushing up on my throat, like so, I try to take my hand, oh sorry, not my hand, I try to put my chin over her hand. Now if she tries to push away, there's no power in it. Okay, so I just lock this in. Toes are on the mat, knees are relatively wide, and all I want you guys to do is just trying to hold this position. Okay. As you go, person on bottom start incrementally increases their resistance. They start very low, trying to escape 10-15%, and then gradually make it more and more and more until you're at 100% working from there. If you ever get to the point that they escape, you keep it at that level until they can control you and work back up again. Make sense, guys? Really, really simple. Don't let go of the elbows. The elbows are the key to their soul, and you want to hold that as long as possible. Okay? And so, that was pretty good. We're going to tighten up a few things, hopefully make the position a little bit more secure. The first one is where I'm placing my feet. Okay, my feet kind of stay underneath my butt. I'm not kicking them out this direction. The most obvious reason is Chelsea can kind of start hooking it with her leg, and that makes my life difficult. Okay? I want to hide it as best as I can, so I'm keeping them underneath my butt. Also, if I'm here, this just kind of feels funny for me. Okay, it doesn't feel like a comfortable position to be in. This is a lot more comfortable. The other thing I'm thinking about is I'm kind of actively pulling my butt down towards my heels, rather than letting my hips go up in the air. Okay, if my butt goes high up in the air, it's going to make my hips light and Chelsea can roll me over, and I have to start fighting out of this position, which I don't want. I want to stay relatively flat the whole time when I'm here.
Remember that the goal isn't to push down into the ground, it's to minimize lateral movement. You're not trying to crush the person into the mat. That doesn't feel heavy. If Tom tries to put all his weight on top of me, he doesn't feel very heavy. Once he starts to squeeze me, it's much more uncomfortable.
Yeah. The other thing is, if your partner gives you space, so I saw some people bringing this arm out, you fill that space. They're giving you what you want. You go to here. So now if Chelsea tries to escape from this position, it becomes so much harder. Any time that your elbow goes above your shoulder line or your shoulder height, it's weak. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do. Okay, so if you're moving around, let's say that Chelsea starts moving and she's giving me space, I take all that space away. Now if she tries to move again, there's nothing there.
On the bottom, you shouldn't be doing this and you shouldn't be doing this.
These are both bad habits you don't want to get into. Okay, another idea is I'm trying to, I'm blocking my own grips with my arms and with my legs. So I rest my hand on my thigh when I'm supporting this. Here, it's not floating out in midair, and I'm not trying to hold it up like so. Here, this is kind of my arm against Chelsea's arm. She can pull it to the ground relatively easy. When it's here, it's way, way more difficult. Okay? So I'm supporting everything as best as I can. It's all locked in tight. Chelsea tries to pull her elbows down. It's not going anywhere. Okay? One final idea, if Chelsea bridges in towards me, the only way that she can go now is this direction. She can't bridge more in towards me. It doesn't work like that. You go to your bridge. So if I defend this, she bridges towards me and I defend, I know she's going to go the other way. So I anticipate it and I sink my weight back, or if she's doing the opposite, let's say she goes this way first, I pull up on the other side to take away her ability to move. Okay, she really only has two directions she can go, and that's all I really worry about. Any questions, guys? Let's try this again. Start thinking about those details as we're going through. So again, gradually escalate your intensity